inside a Metro Atlanta convenience store. Look at this. Police say a woman's ex-boyfriend shot and killed her in the store.
She pulled up to a store she visited almost every single day, didn't think twice about it. But somebody was waiting on her that night, and by the time she realized it, it was already too late. Her name was Tia Keith. Folks in Oakwood, Georgia knew her as a braider and a locktician, the kind of woman who had her hands in half the heads in that community. She wasn't just good at what she did, she was booked. Regular clients, regular schedule, the type of woman people looked forward to seeing, and when she wasn't at the salon, she had her little routine, her little stops she made almost like clockwork. One of those stops was a convenience store on Mountain View Road. Nothing special about it, just a store. She came through so often, twice a day sometimes, that the people who worked there knew her by face, knew her by name. The owner's own wife got her hair done by Tia. That's how close-knit this was. This wasn't some random woman walking into a random store. This was somebody's regular, somebody's Thursday night stop. Let me tell you something about routines. They feel safe. They feel like nothing bad could ever live inside them. You do the same thing enough times, you stop looking over your shoulder, and that's exactly the comfort Tia had built with this store. In, out, grab what she needed, go on about her night. She had done it 100 times before. Now here's where the story shifts. Tia had history with a man, an ex, somebody she used to call hers, somebody she used to build with. We don't know everything about how that relationship ended, but we know this. It ended. And when a relationship ends, sometimes it really ends. Both people walk away and move on with their lives. But sometimes one person doesn't walk away at all. Sometimes one person stays stuck, stays watching, stays waiting for a moment. And that's the part of this story that should make you sit up, because on this particular night, Tia pulled into that same store she always pulled into. Same routine, same parking lot. She went inside, grabbed what she needed, walked back out to her car like she'd done 1,000 times. Except this time, her ex-boyfriend was already sitting inside her car, waiting on her, in the dark, in the one place she thought was hers, moving on, because it only gets heavier from here. The moment she got close enough, he opened fire on her right there in that parking lot, right out in the open. No warning she could have prepared for, no time to process what was happening. 1 second she's finishing up a normal errand, the next second she's fighting for her life in a parking lot she knew like the back of her hand. But here's what you need to understand about Tia. She didn't just stand there and take it. She fought. Hit, wounded, still moving, she found something in her to break away from him. She got loose, and she ran. Not toward her car, not toward the street. She ran straight back into that store. The same store where people knew her name, where she probably thought if she could just get inside, somebody could help her, somebody would protect her. Girl, if that's not the most human thing in the world, I don't know what is. When your body's been hit and your mind is screaming, you run toward the people who know you. You run toward safety. Tia ran toward that door believing it would save her. I said what I said, and I'll say it again. This wasn't supposed to happen to her. Not at her regular store, not after a normal night, not by somebody she used to love. That's where we're going to pause this batch. Batch 2 picks up the second she makes it through those doors, and trust me, it does not slow down from there. So she makes it through the door, bleeding, terrified, running on pure adrenaline, and for a split second, you want to believe that's it. She's inside now. She's safe now. But he came in right behind her. He didn't stop. He didn't hesitate at the door and think twice about what he was doing. He walked into that store after her and kept shooting. Tia ran toward the back, toward the bathroom, probably looking for anything that could put a wall between her and him. She didn't make it all the way. She went down right around that area, hit by several more shots before it was over. Let me tell you something wild about this whole thing. The owner of that store, a man named Farouk Khan, wasn't even there that night. He was home, but he had cameras hooked up to his phone, the kind of setup a lot of small business owners use just to keep an eye on things from a distance. So he's sitting at home, pulls up the app like he's done 100 times before, and instead of watching an empty store, he's watching a woman get shot right there in his own business, in real time, from his living room. Make it make sense. This man had to sit there and witness the whole thing unfold on a screen, unable to do a single thing about it. He watched the first shots happen outside, watched her run in, watched it happen again inside. That's a level of helpless most of us can't even imagine. Now, he wasn't the only one who saw parts of this. There was a clerk working that night, and there was also a customer inside the store. When the shooting started, the clerk did what a lot of people would do. He ducked. He got low, got behind that counter. But he didn't just hide and do nothing. He got on the phone and called 911 right away. That call is the reason first responders even knew to come. Problem is, by the time they got there, it was already too late to save her. Oh, so now picture the scene once law enforcement shows up. A woman down inside a convenience store. A community that knows her, some of them standing right outside watching this play out. And the man responsible? Already gone. He didn't stick around. He ran, leaving Tia right there on that floor. Anyways, word travels fast in a close community like that one. Tia's family found out what happened, and they didn't wait around for details. They got in their cars and went straight to that scene. And when there was nothing left for them to do there, they didn't go home. They went to her salon. Think about that for a second. Her family's world just got shattered, and one of the first things on their mind was making sure her clients wouldn't show up the next day confused, wondering why Tia never opened up shop. So they put a sign on that door themselves. That's how much this woman meant to the people around her. Even in the middle of their own worst night, they were thinking about protecting her name and her business. Period. That right there tells you everything you need to know about who Tia Keith was to the people who loved her. Batch 3 is coming up next, and that's where we get into the manhunt, what law enforcement was dealing with trying to find this man, and what Tia's family had to say once the cameras were rolling. So now, the manhunt begins. And this wasn't some small, contained search either. Investigators believed this man had ties spread out across metro Atlanta, down into Florida, and up into South Carolina. So right away, this isn't just a one-county problem. This is a man who could disappear into 3 different states if he wanted to. Multiple agencies got pulled into this, all working together trying to run him down before he got too far. Here's the part that might surprise you. Tia's own family had his name. They had his picture. They sent it out themselves trying to get eyes on this man.
We first brought you the story as breaking news on Channel 2 Action News this morning when we took you live to the scene along Mountain View Road in Hall County. That's where Channel 2's Susan Hendricks joins us live at the store. Susan, you're learning more about that victim.
Yes, her name is Tia Keith, Karen. It was 9:30 that she pulled up here to the store behind me, went inside. She's a regular here, by the way, at this convenience store. Went inside to grab something, comes out. Her ex-boyfriend is in her car. Shots are fired. She runs back inside, and the surveillance video shows her running towards the bathroom.
Back to a bathroom, and she falling on the floor. But he another 4 or 5 bullets.
Farouk Khan, the owner of the convenience store, describes what he saw on the security footage as he watched in horror from home.
First bullet he already did outside, and she running go inside.
After hearing gunshots, you see the clerk look around the corner. He picks up the phone, calls 911, then ducks behind the counter.
She's a customer. My wife watched the video. Is my regular customer. She work on the salon. She work my very regular customer. She coming twice a day.
Word of the shooting reached her family members, who immediately drove to the site of the deadly shooting before heading to the victim's hair salon.
And I'm on my way to her salon now to put a sign there because I don't want anybody to think that she just didn't show up.
But law enforcement asked everybody to hold off on blasting that information publicly, not because they didn't want justice for Tia, but because they were already working solid leads on where he might be, and they didn't want to spook him into running further or putting their own officers in danger. So what? You'd think more exposure means a faster catch, right? But sometimes in cases like this, going quiet is actually the smarter move. They believed they had eyes close to him. They just needed the room to close that gap. This wasn't a woman with no ties, no people, no support system. Charlotte, her first cousin, spoke about who Tia was outside of everything happening in the headlines. Not just a victim in a news story, but a daughter, a sister, a cousin. Somebody with a whole life built around her. People who loved her long before any of this happened, and who'd be dealing with the weight of it long after the cameras left. Her father and the rest of her family made it clear how they felt about all of this. They called it senseless. Straight up said it never should have happened. And instead of standing in front of cameras pouring out their grief in that moment, they made a choice. They said their focus wasn't on themselves right then. It was on getting justice for Tia and seeing this man caught. One family member said it plainly. She was headed straight to Tia's salon, and in her words, "I don't want anybody to think that she just didn't show up." Let that sit with you for a second. In the middle of losing somebody they loved, they were still thinking about protecting her name, her business, her reputation. But hey, let's zoom out for a second, because this case says something bigger than just what happened to Tia. It says something about how dangerous it can be when somebody refuses to let go after a relationship ends. It says something about how a place you feel safe, a regular spot, a routine you trust, can be turned into the most dangerous place you walk into. And it says something about community, because from the store owner watching helpless through his phone, to the clerk who called for help, to a family who dropped everything to protect her legacy before they even had time to grieve, Tia Keith was surrounded by people who cared about her, right up until the moment it mattered most, and still couldn't stop what happened. I said what I said. This is a story about love that turned into obsession, and obsession that turned deadly. And until men who can't accept a breakup understand that no is a complete sentence, we're going to keep telling stories just like this one. Rest easy, Tia Keith.